Is it on? Are we on? Can y'all hear me? Okay. Looks like the microphone is working, so that's good. So good morning, everybody. 8:50, a little bit, we'll say it's on time. I try to get on here, because I'm on the charts probably around 7:45-ish. Eh, no. I get up around there. I probably get on the charts around 8:15. So I tried to start this around 8:45-ish, just because I like to do my own analysis beforehand before jumping on here, just to get an idea of what uh, I believe, or not I believe, what my plan is for the day. And then, I'll explain it over, this, and then we'll study price together. So today, today's January 7th. I know it seems like it's redundant me keeping doing the date, but you'd be surprised how many people ask about it. Oh, what date was this? So they can go back in their charts and, backtest it. So today's Wednesday, January 7th. And that makes sense. So don't get mad. Don't get mad at me. So we have, first of all, today's the Wednesday of non-farm payroll week, and non-farm payroll week is one of the low probability weeks when it comes to day trading. When it comes to, lowest probability when it comes to high quality setups. That's a good way to put it, I guess. Or high quality price action. So today we had news at 8:15. Where's 8:15? I can't see the time because my toolbar is covering it up. 8:15, right there. Didn't give us that much of a pump. Gave us a little bit of a flurry. I don't think I saw it. I don't think I saw it live, but you can see exactly what it did. Let me go back up to the 5 minute here. But first of all, I want to take your attention to the daily chart. So yesterday, y'all saw it. I called it wrong. I called it wrong. And that's okay. Like I told you, I get it wrong about 30% of the time. And yesterday I got it completely wrong. And with me getting it completely wrong, I, went over my analysis, did my back testing, and my bias now is a bullish bias. I would like to see higher prices, just because we closed above this candle's wick. And since we closed above this candle's wick, that confirmed that I was going to be bullish for the time being right now. So that's the reason that I have, the daily chart up. I have this wick graded. The quadrants are right here, as you'll see. Let's drop down to the 4 hour. 4 hour, we have, it's weird market structure right here because we have this big beefy candle right here. We have this pattern right here, which is a low, a high, and a lower low, which this is a breaker. We have this inefficiency inversion level right here that has not been retraded to. And we also have this breaker. So a breaker is a low, a high, and a lower low. So find the highest up candle with the body for this one right here. And this is where the most sensitivity is. These whole strand of candles, these three right here, are the full breaker. Now, if you're bullish and you want to see, where is it? Okay, yeah, I have it marked out on this chart right here. So, if you're bullish, you want to see price stay in this upper candle. Don't trade below and close below the midpoint on a 4 hour basis because this is a 4 hour confluence. See, that's a big point. So whatever confluences you are using, the rules apply to those confluences on that time frame. Like like the common rules, like if it closes above or below, to invalidate it, then you have to determine that on the time frame that the uh, confluence is on. So if you have a closure on the 5 minute from a 1 hour uh, fair value gap, does that necessarily validate it? Not yet. I mean, if the hour's not up, then you have to wait, for more information. Um, and it's hard to, remember that, but that's just, a part of it. So anyways, 4 hour breaker right here, taps into it overnight. Um, Another point about NFP weeks is that the Wednesdays moving forward after Wednesday morning session, they tend to get a little wishy-washy, which means it's uh, it's less predictable because that's what we're doing here. We're predicting where price is going to go, and after Wednesday morning session on NFP week, it tends to get that way in my experience. That and so for that, my rules and your rules can be the same, or they don't have to. I'm just giving you my opinion. After Wednesday morning session, so that means after 11:30, I tend to stay out of the market um, until the news event for actual non-farm payroll drops on Friday. So that means after 11:30 on today, I tend to stay out of the market until, and even 10 o'clock, they have news tomorrow. So I'll stay out of the market until 10 a.m. tomorrow. And even then, I don't like to speculate too hard, just because, like I said, this week causes a lot of unpredictability. Because y'all saw what my bias was going into this week. I had a pretty solid bearish bias. And now, after yesterday, I, came to the conclusion that, you know, maybe we have to readjust something, which is fine. I mean, did I, and I mean, you also saw the trade that I took yesterday. Did I freak out and did I force my idea, my original idea on the market? No. And I mean, I don't know. You can go back and forth and say, "Oh, but you said stick to your original plan." Yeah, I did stick to my original plan, and my original plan is if it doesn't work out, I do nothing. And it wasn't panning out. And so what did I do? I sat back, I studied, I watched, I readjusted. And you could say this, you could say that, oh, he's just, like I said, trying to cover himself. That just shows you don't know about this business, because this business can make you contradict yourself so many times. And that's the definition of me as a trader as well. I'm I'm constantly changing my idea, just because first of all, I'm working with so low time frames that I really don't even need to trade with a bias to be, like I said, profitable for myself. I like to trade with a bias because I don't want to take 3, 4 scalp trades in a day. To be completely honest with you, I just don't want to sit in front of the charts and take the time to do that, because to wait for 3 to 4 setups for scalps, I mean, you got to be, you can probably take 1 or 2 in the morning session, one in the afternoon, and one in the, no, not one in the afternoon, one during lunch, and then one during the afternoon. That's 4. Or if you do one in the morning, one in the lunch, during the lunch hour, one in the afternoon, that's 3. So I don't like trading that frequently. I can, but I don't like to. So that's the reason why I like having a bias. And that's also the reason why if I don't necessarily have it 100% correct, I'm confident that I can still capture something because of what I just explained. A scalper's mentality is, you can be flexible, and that's what you have to do sometimes, or you have to make a choice whether you either be flexible or you stay out altogether. Now, if you're new, I would say stay out altogether. It's just better. But if you've done it, if you've practiced it, if you've done it on paper, if you're profitable on paper doing it this way, then I would say you can apply it to your actual, model. Anyways, I digress. I mean, I don't want to sound like uh, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to sound overconfident. I don't want to sound like I'm, you know, making stuff up, pulling stuff out of my butt, but that's literally how I think. I think, okay, my original idea was wrong. So instead of, I don't like to give up. Let me put it that way. I don't like to give up. And so if I don't like to give up, I figure out a way that I can, you know, still be, a profitable trader in my own eyes and, you know, capturing a little scalp, you know, will still appease me as a trader. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out loud. But yesterday, after I closed the stream, or after I ended the video, excuse me, I'm not streaming. Um, I took that trade probably 5, 10 minutes after, and to be completely honest with you, that's why I closed the video, because I saw the setup forming, and first of all, I want to get 2 videos out. I wanted to do the execution, and I didn't want to record on my phone and be talking here. So I had a choice to make. I was like, well, I can either take the trade and, just comment on price action over here, not let y'all know that I took a trade, and then after the fact, tell y'all, hey, I was in a trade, and this is what happened. But I didn't. So I closed the video and then took the trade and then posted the video that you can see that yesterday. Um, but y'all saw that, I mean, I didn't get my full target, which I said, if you go back and watch the video at the end of the video, when I didn't get in on the market on my setup going short, I said the fair value gap that I had my limit order on, that it didn't, price didn't draw into there. If you look at where my target was for my trade, that it was that fair value gap, and I said it didn't get me in. It didn't. This was a run. This was a setup that I was not a part of. Now I said this fair value gap was going to be utilized later. And I said the only question is it going to be, for me, a setup going short or or is it going to be a target for me going long? And it was a target for me going long. And good news is that, I stuck to my rules and I was smart and I took partials at, logical places. I observed, when I believed the run was, losing strength, and I took more off. And I think I had, and y'all saw me add to it too. I think I started with 10 contracts and I ended up with 16. So out of the 16 contracts, I think I got 14 off and I had 2 left on. And then I tried to add more back, to be honest with you. And I almost was able to. And I managed it exactly how I would manage it, even if I didn't add more to my position. Y'all saw me move my stop right below that volume imbalance if you go back and watch the video. And you see price respect that volume imbalance, which is what I wanted to see, which is why I put my stop below there. But it left equal level lows, and y'all know, or y'all will learn, throughout this, that equal level lows are a high probability for price to want to gravitate towards and take out. That's liquidity, baby. That is liquidity. So, let me see. Do I want to talk about anything that I covered yesterday? I don't know. Do you want me to do? I, uh, I don't know. I'm thinking about doing a trade recap video, or at least if I take a trade and I record it, because it is silent. Maybe going back, rewatching it, doing and recording over, like voiceover, the price action. I don't know. I'm doing the same thing here, so I mean, the only difference is that I would be in a live trade, which I know a lot of people like to see, and the fact that you're in a live trade and you're commenting on price action, for some people, it makes it more valid that you're a good person to read price action. I mean, this doesn't prove it for them, apparently. You have to be making money, which I mean, I get. You got to be making money. You got to prove it. You got to show the receipts. So I get it. But anyways, let's talk about today. Let's focus on today. We got about geez, sorry folks, I cut off the time down here. You can see my cursor. It's right below here, but we are, I don't know what I can do. It's 9:06. Let me put it that way. It's 9:06. I don't know where you can see the time, or how do I expand this? Can I expand it? I don't think I can. So apologies, folks. Y'all are just gonna have to deal with. I'll tell you all the time, whatever it is. Yeah, I messed up. When I was adjusting, the layout for how big the screen would be, I cut off the time. That's okay. So today, like I said, I would like to see some bullish movement. It's Wednesday before NFP though, so I mean, I'm not that excited about it. Like I said, if I do decide to speculate on it, it's gonna be, pretty short, scalp in and out. I don't want to be in the market too long because anything can happen, after morning session, in my opinion. Um, so right here, let's see, we have the midnight opening price, hovers around that, can't find any footing there, fails. Here's the 8:30 opening price, dips below there. Let's see here, go up to the hourly. So here's the other midnight opening prices for Tuesday and Monday. Um, I, I I'm I'm seeing this, and I am and these are suspect lows, but these are equal level. These are around London. It's right above the quarter mark of this 4 hour, the upper quarter, I should say, of the 4 hour breaker. Go back to the 5 minute, and then we also have the upper quarter of this daily wick. Where is it? There it is. Upper quarter of the daily wick that it falls short. Now I do like that for bullishness, but again, like I said, those lows to me are suspect. So I want to see one, either it's going to take whether they take those lows out, or if they leave them intact. If they leave them intact and then we show signs to the upside, that'll show me that this thing is strong. Because if it can't even get down here, and then after market opens it comes down, and plus I won't even be looking for anything until after 10 o'clock because we have news right there. So come on. There we go. So if we come down here, I really don't see a reason why they can't run those, though, in my opinion. Um, this, these two candles, this candle and this candle, it would have to stay in the upper half on a 15-minute basis. It would have to stay in the upper half, not close above it, for me to be really confident that these lows will not be taken out. Like it'll have to not close above here, show displacement to the upside, and then yeah, that that would be the only way that I don't wait for something, like I said, a liquidity run down here. And even then, I might just chill because I don't need to. I've had, a pretty good week for NFP week. I've de-risked. I've lost all my two trades. So I like to risk about, I don't know, 1 to 1.5% of my account. But on NFP week, I cut that in half, almost quarter it, just because I don't want to take the, you know, normal amount of risk that I usually have on a week in a day that isn't as high probability, to be completely honest with you. So, anyways, um, suspect lows. Uh, I had this high marked out because this is the first swing high in an hourly. We did trade above it, which is why I'm saying, we're the bias is technically bullish, but then again, like I said, we have these suspect lows right here. So stay above these two candles right here, which is a bullish order block. I'll draw it out for y'all just so y'all can visually see it. I do have this fair value got marked out above market price as well. Actually, we're just going to make this a line. And I'll mark the midpoint of this. So from right here to right there. Sorry, I was doing projections. 25,743. Okay. All right. So I'll explain the projections too, I guess. So, we're just chilling for the time being. We got about 17 minutes. Oh, there's the time. Y'all can see it now, right there. Why is it why is it different on this layout? Why is the I don't know. I don't know. Why is that bigger than that? What's going on? I don't know. There we go. Oh, that's what I had to do. Okay. I just had to close a pane, not a not a pain, but a pane. So right here, here's the line that we have for uh, the closing settlement price at 414, which is the high right now of the opening range gap. So when we open up, it looks like if we stay below it, we'll have a discount opening range gap. Like I said, 70% of the time, price will trade to the midpoint of that before 10 o'clock. Excuse me one second, folks. All right, sorry about that. Anyways, so also, I forgot, I remembered something while I was doing it, um, or I was away, um, to check out, let's see where we got here. So price is right there, and that's right there. So wherever we open up, what do we have liquidity wise? But these, do we have any regular trading hour highs or lows that we're going to be around? What price are we around? We are around 25,777. So let's 25,777 right there. So we're hovering around there. If we open up somewhere close to there, we have these equal level lows right here. Make that red. But I mean, y'all saw me yesterday. I mean, I was, like I said, seeing all this, with the opening range gaps, and I was interpreting it as, it wasn't hitting those levels because it was going to retrade back to them because it was enticing traders that this thing was bullish, and I wasn't believing it at the time. But now, after yesterday, this is a sign of bullishness because if it can't trade down to a certain midpoint of a confluence, which the opening range gap to me is a confluence, then that's underlying strength. So equal level lows down here. We're trading around the 777 right there. So could see it spike down, take this liquidity. We also have this up here. So let's go back to electronic trading hours. Now it did take liquidity on a electronic trading basis, but not on a regular trading basis. So that's why I still have that level marked. Okay. About 11 minutes now. I said just hovering around that midnight opening price. Let's go down to a lower time frame, 5 minute. Drawing up into this fair value gap. We did have a market structure shift right here with this swing low being broken. You can use that one if you want to. I like this one better though. It's drawing up into this 5 minute fair value gap right there. Like I said, we'll see what the reaction is out of there. Or we'll study it. What the heck did I just open up? Open up another chart. I didn't mean to. Okay. Also, the reason why I felt these were suspect is because here is equilibrium. And one rule of mine is that to be a valid setup, if I'm going long, the setup has to be in a discount. And if I'm going short, the setup has to be in a premium. Where are we right now? Are we in a discount? Are we in a premium? We're in a premium. Here's discount. Below this line is discount. It comes close, doesn't get into a discount. So if this thing screams up, sure, whatever, I'll just let it go. Because, like I said, the only way that I would take a trade if it doesn't take out these lows is if it stays above these two candles and shows a strong displacement to the upside. But still, I'm gonna be patient about that. Okay, where are we hovering now? Here's the new day opening gap. Also, new day opening gap is up here. I expand the chart. It's right here. This gray box right there in my chart's frozen. So this gray box right there, it's a new day opening gap where we closed at 4:59 and where we opened at 6 p.m. That's what that box is delineating. Looks like we are respecting this 5-minute fair value gap. Here we have sell side from the pre-market session. Could see it come down and sweep that. And like I said, then we have these lows. And then we have upper quarter of the breaker and upper quarter of the daily wick. Discount daily wick. There's nice displacement for bearishness. Equal level lows right here. Watch those. Still around that 830 opening price right there. Look at that. Boing, 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 boing. Looks like a heart monitor. Boom, boom. Anyway, so here we go. These lows also. But this is that's not very clean price action, isn't it? So I would like to see it clear up. Okay. About 6 minutes now. What chart do I want to keep it on? I want to keep it on. Let's keep it on this one right here. We'll go to the 5-minute. And we're just going to wait for market open. See if I wanted to talk about anything else. I don't think so. Yeah, okay. Equal level lows, equal level lows. Ran this high immediately, causing a downward reaction. We have 35 minutes left. So depending on how this candle closes, it's going to tell us a lot about what's going to happen in the morning session. In my opinion, what I would like to see, if you really want to know what I like to see, and I'm not trying to pick a bottom. I'm not trying to pick, where it's going to immediately stop and turn around. But I would like to see it come down, take these lows out, accumulate somewhere in here, stay in the upper half of the 4-hour breaker and the daily wick, stay in the upper half of that, and then show some type of displacement to the upside. That's what I would like to see. I know yesterday I was bearish as far as the daily bias goes, but today a daily bias for me is the daily bias is bullish. If it is bullish, if this, then that, like a function on Excel. Y'all ever work with Excel before? Like Excel spreadsheets, like Microsoft. So functions on Excel, you have to type them out a certain way. If cell C8 equals 42, then whatever, something. So it's that. Well, that's what I'm referring to, and that's how I interpret price. If this happens, then this should happen. If this happens, then this should happen. And if I'm on point with that, that's when, I would consider speculating. Um, if I'm not on point with that, then I do nothing. Somebody's calling me, folks. Hold on. All right, 2 minutes before market open. If you are speculating today, be aware of news, please. Be um, have some common sense. Let me put it that way. If we got high impact news, hold on, let me take this off. High impact news at 10 a.m. I mean, are you going to expect a shit ton of movement before that time? Oh, I know what I was going to explain. So the projection levels. Mm, do I want to wait? I'm going to wait. I'll wait. And whenever we have, because I want to mark the opening price on this chart. I want to mark the opening price so I get the opening range gap on there. So 40 seconds till Wild Wild West. I'm just kidding. Don't treat this as the Wild Wild West. No, this is what should you treat this as? I don't know. Have this inversion for value gap right here. This for value gap broken to the upside. See if it wants to take this high right here. Market open. Boom, took that high. Okay. So there's the opening price. Right there. And so we'll mark the opening range gap. Oh, extend right. Midpoint. It's already been traded to right there. Y'all just saw it. What's today? The 7th. Boom. Hits it right there. So y'all can see it right there. I'm going to delete this line. Okay. Comes up to the upper quarter as well. You'll see this. I don't have it definitively marked. Okay, so stopped short of the upper quarter. Now it is dropping. So we took buy side initially. There's a buy side here. Took buy side. There's a buy side from Pre-market session. Draw, drew up into this fair value gap. I already had it on there. Now, seeing it come back down, see if it gets into this inversion inefficiency, see if it can support price, or is it going to give up the ghost and then attack these lows. So that's what we're studying right now. In my opinion, I would run this. I'd run all this. Trick traders thinking that it's going up right now. And then slam it down below these lows. So what am I saying? I want it to go up, to go down. Now, I'm still, I'd still be bullish, but these are suspect to me. Like I said, the fact that we stopped short of here. I said I was wrong about it yesterday, about it having a bearish bias. I still could be right about the bias, but it doesn't take these lows out, which is fine. But I'm gonna wait for price to show me that. I don't, act upon who's turning into my parking lot. What's going on? Sorry. Looks like it's a delivery guy. What are we doing? We going up? Yeah. Sorry. Let me see if this guy is here for me. Above midnight opening price now. Let's go back to this chart. Back up into the 5-minute fair value gap. Hold on. I'll go downstairs real quick, folks, and see what this guy wants. Well, he wasn't even here for me. All right, what do we got? So, trading higher now again? Yeah. So, above the 5-minute fair value gap now, or 15 minute, excuse me. If I was calling it 5 minute, I'm sorry. Maybe it is on the 5 minutes. Maybe that's why I had it. Yeah. Oh, but it's oh. So I had it marked wrong. It should be pretty sure there's a volume imbalance there. Let me check. Close, where, if I can get right on it. Close is, where is it? There it is. $25,815.25, open, 25,000, yeah, there's a volume imbalance. Wait, I was looking at the open. 25,815.25. Okay, no, never mind. My bad, folks. No volume imbalance. Straight fair value gap. Come back down. Did it close below or above on the 5-minute basis? Not yet. Or on the 15-minute basis? Not yet. So that's the reason why I'm keeping that on there for right now, at least. And it's the open, so I mean, we're going to have overextensions of certain runs for right now because the open is it's a spike in volatility. They do it to knock a lot of people out. They do it because a lot of people are in here early. They do it because a lot of people want to do something right away and they're impatient. So they take it a lot of which ways, which is why I like to wait, mainly for the first macro. And then, since we have news, I'm waiting till after 10 a.m., after it drops. But that's why I still have certain confluences on there, or I will keep certain confluence on there, even though it trades through them. Now, if it does, close above it, I will, flip the script and be like, okay, since it did close above it, if we are bullish, we want to see it stay, above here or below here, or I mean, not come down to here, So, staying above this order block, hourly, it's looking like we're going to close above here, which is going to confirm my bullishness. And these lows now, to me, should be left intact. Back up into the new day opening gap. At least for now. So I was starting to mention these projections that I had up here, and I'll explain I'll explain those here real quick. So for targeting, obviously we can see these highs though. So obviously we have, targets that on the chart that we can see. But if you want, some exact prices, some exact measurements, then this is what we use. So I take the fib, and so we have a price swing. We were inside this range until we got above this high. Since we got above this high, and I'm bullish, I want to, try to predict, or I want to determine how far this thing can go. And I use standard deviations to do that. So what did I do? I took, and I'll click on it so you can see. So you can see that it anchored from this low to this high, which is that swing that we were in. Once we broke it, I have it projected up 1/4 of this range, half of this range, 75% of the range, and then one standard deviation, which is one complete full extension up. So I'll show you that. So I'll do a rectangle here. I'll show you. So from here to this high is what we are measuring. So to copy this, all you do is Control Shift, click, drag up. So if we put this right on top of that original swing, Come on. There we go. That's what, and it's a little bit overlap, but that's what gives us this projection right there. So that's the reason why I have that. So how far can it reach? Here's 1/4. Where's the liquidity in this? Well, we have half, which is right here. So if it goes here, I'm just gonna pretty much say that it's gonna go here. 0.75. We have it above here, but we also have it right below this inefficiency on the 4-hour right here. I'll mark that for y'all. Why is this being so difficult this morning? I don't know. Sorry, I'm OCD like this. I like my drawings absolutely perfect. So, ran this high on a 4-hour basis. These 3 down candles now, if it closes above this candle's opening price. Actually, technically no, it's already traded above it, so this validates it as an order block. So what we would like to see is it stay in this candle's range, not take out this low. If it's bullish, that's what I'm saying. If it's bullish, stay within this candle's range and then gravitate towards this high right here, which I have already marked out, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right here. It's a daily high as well. And we also have these highs, and we have this inefficiency on the 4-hour. Looks like it's starting to find support at the midpoint of the weekly volume imbalance. I said we still got a lot of time, folks. We still have 17 minutes until news. So don't be in a rush to do something. Because like I said, with this and with non-farm payroll, they could do anything with it. They could slam this thing down. They could, cause a reversal. I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but that's just what they do. It's highly unpredictable. And I spent so much time trying to figure out how to capture something from news, and I would look. We've fully closed the opening range gap. Let's go back here. See where our opening range is right now here. Looks like we are going to close above this 15-minute fair value gap. So if we do come back down into it, I would like to see it treated as inversion. We stayed above that candle, so that was good to see for bullishness. Let me see here. I want to mark. Yeah, we'll keep that level right there because that's essentially where I'm wanting it to draw towards. I don't want to talk to you. Okay. Delete that for right now. Hourly. Look at this. This was the run overnight. Boom. Everybody that shorted from 6 o'clock yesterday, as soon as market opened back up, crushed. If they hadn't already squared their positions. So we have this large imbalance. Large imbalance. It'd be wild to see if in 14 minutes they absolutely just slam this thing down here. That would be. How many people would just like absolute like jaw drops? Oh, what the heck just happened? It's what it's what it does, folks. That's what news does. News events are smoke screens used by the the people that actually control this thing. That's what the news events are for. They're used as smoke screens for them to do what they want with price. So they already have it predetermined where this thing is going to go on the news, but they have to give the public something to believe that it's random. Oh, the news did this. No, the news didn't do it. The people did it. And they told you, oh, news events dropped. So that's the reason why. Or non-farm payroll changed. That's why. They just determine, yeah, we're going to take it down here today. And it's because of this. You know, we want to knock this many people out. We want to get this many people in the market. It's going to generate this many. It's a business, folks. That's all this is. It's all a business. Uh, they want to make money just like you and me. And how do they make money? Knocking people out, getting people in. Knocking people out, getting people in. It's a constant cycle. Look at this on the 15 minute. 15 minute, you have that new day opening gap sitting right on the upper half, in the upper half, right above the midpoint of the weekly volume imbalance. Didn't take out the lows from pre-market. Notice that. Did not take the lows from pre-market. Accumulate or manipulate, down, accumulate, distribute. Okay, we are going to keep it on the 15. And we'll watch the news candle off the 15-minute chart because I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it yet. And this thing's already extended a lot. So, and if you look at the 1 minute, I mean, look at all this price action. Chill. So here's 9:30. 9:30, right there. Saw it spike up into this, what was bearish fair value gap, drop back inside this fair value gap right here, rally. Do we have, oh, we do have a first presented fair value gap. Right. Small again, right there. So after 9:30, here's the first presented fair value gap. Has not been touched yet. Obnoxious color. Let's make it a little darker. You'll see that okay? Should I make it like that? You'll like that better? Okay. Actually, let's do... No, I don't like that. That's too close to my breaker color. Oh, I don't want to do purple because it's already got purple. We're just going to keep it yellowish. I guess you could call that yellow. I don't know. Anyways, there's your first presented fair value gap. Sitting right above the high, or sitting right on the high from pre-market. Okay. We're inside the first macro now. It's 9:51. Hmm. Let's take another drink of coffee. Yeah, I said I just started drinking coffee again and caffeine in general. And it's been an interesting uh, couple days because I think I started doing it last week. And it wasn't any reason. I just wanted something, in the morning, and I hadn't had coffee in a while. I got one, and I was like, dang, kind of miss this. Anyways, I try to keep myself, my caffeine intake pretty low, maybe 1 cup a day. But I used to be dependent on caffeine. Um, and we got like 6 minutes before news drops, so we got some time to kill, folks. Anyway, so in college, I was really dependent on caffeine because I played a sport. I played baseball, and so uh, we would in the off season at least. This was when the peak of my caffeine addiction was because we would have during the week three times, 3 times a week. Yeah, 3 times a week we would have 6 o'clock in the morning weightlifting sessions, and so we would have to wake up, be in the indoor facility area where everything was and ready to go by 5:50. And so, I mean, I had to wake up at like, luckily, well, for the first 2 years, because they required students to stay 2 years on campus, which is stupid in my opinion because there's a lot of other schools that only require one. It was a nightmare sophomore year. Anyways, not important. That's not the point of the story. Anyway, so um, if you're on campus, you could you can get away with waking up at like 5:30 and be on time because all you had to do was walk across campus and you were at the indoor facility. But if you lived off campus, then you had to drive, and so in that sense, you had to wake up a little earlier. If and some guys, I mean, I didn't go to a big school, so I mean, off campus, it wasn't right across the street. Sometimes it was down the road, 10 minutes away. So especially when the prices were that they were in the area. So during the off season, when we would have 6 a.m. lifts, then a lot of guys would bring stuff to wake them up. Some guys did pre-workout, some guys did energy drinks, some guys did smelling salts, some guys just screamed at themselves and slapped themselves in the face. That's the natural way. I should have done that. That's the better way. Anyways, I was like I said, young, so I mean the easiest way for me was to just do caffeine. Caffeine was and I had already been doing or regularly having caffeine, so I was fine. But anyway, so the this I measured it one day because it got really bad, in my opinion. But I measured it one day of how much caffeine I ingested, and it was over, and y'all are going to be shocked, over 1,000 milligrams. That's a lot, folks. So if you want to get an idea of what my typical day looked like, it was wake up, go to 6 a.m. lift. This is when we had, like, if we didn't lift it in the morning at 6 a.m., then I would probably have 300 milligrams less, but I would still have a lot. So, wake up, go to 6 a.m. lifts, pop and dry scoop. Like, this is like not even mix it with water. Dry scoop a pre-workout, sometimes one and a half if I was really tired. Like on Mondays were the toughest days because obviously weekends and stuff like that. So Mondays, sometimes it would be a scoop and a half. Anyways, it would be take a scoop of pre-workout, do 6 a.m. lifts. 6 a.m. lifts are over. I mean, I got time to kill in between, starting my classes, which maybe start between 9:30 and 10:30. Some guys had 8 a.m. classes, which was, oh, that was so tough. I luckily never had an 8 a.m. class. But anyway, so it would be go to breakfast because I got time to kill, have a cup of coffee with breakfast. So there's more caffeine. Go to class, first class or whatever, and then I would actually, because we would also have workouts that we needed to do throughout the week on our own time. So I would do those in between classes if I could. So if I could, and I would go to the on-campus gym, and I would pop another scoop of pre-workout. Do pre-workout, go hit my workout, and then go to class again. After my classes were over, we had what are called senior leds, and senior leds are basically practice during the off season that are led by the players, the seniors, rather than the coaches, because NCAA rules prohibit or only allow a certain amount of practice days during the off season, and we devoted that during what's called the fall season in October. Anyway, so after class, I would have to go back to my dorm, drop off my stuff, and then head to the locker room to change into my practice stuff. So on the way there, I would grab an energy drink, and I would drink that, and we would do senior led practice. After senior led practice, which usually lasted, depending on when you got out there, when class ended, you were supposed to get out there, as soon as you could, as soon as class ended. So sometimes it would be, 2.5, 3 hours, of senior led practice if, I got, I had a class at 2:30 in the afternoon. Uh, so after senior led practice, the coaches would come out and we would actually do conditioning. And conditioning was some type of running or, some type of exercising movement, cardio type thing. Um, and before that, I would more than likely take a half a scoop of pre-workout. I would dial it back. I would dial it back, and I would take half a scoop of pre-workout. We got about 30 seconds left before the news drops, so I will pick this up in just a second. We'll watch this, see what we get, because I'm not really interested in it right now. But we're almost done as far as my story goes. But hopefully, y'all are enjoying it, finding it amusing. 3, 2, 1, stay out. Okay, okay. Okay. Into that 15-minute fair value gap. Down to the new day opening gap to the midpoint of the weekly volume imbalance. Okay. See, it's hovering around that new day opening gap. See if we can get below it. Okay. Below it. Come on. If I can't get low, if I can't, it's going to leave equal level lows, though, right there. Oh, there we go. Punches through. 15-minute, like I said, right there. We do have this inversion fair value gap. Let's see if it keeps price paid. We also have this one down here. So, in my opinion, I'm just going to encapsulate the whole inefficiency right there. Oh, like I said, they could have just ran this high, thinking or wanting to entice traders that it's going to go up here. And they see this, like, oh, that's easy. A lot of people are probably, or they can definitely see how many people are right here. Oh, there's a lot of people right here. Let's see if we can't hurt those people. Or not. Let's see, does this have a volume imbalance? No, it does not. So let's measure the opening range. So opening range from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. Highest high and lowest low from that first 30 minutes. There it is. We've come back down into a discount. There's nothing special about my fib settings also, folks. So, but if you want to take a screenshot, you can. Okay. We'll probably go till 10:30 today, just because I'm not going to stay on very long after, like I said, I explained to you what this day is, what this day means to me. So, upper quarter, midpoint, lower quarter. Let's see, we come back down into opening range gap. Yep, opening range gap high, right there. Here's a midnight opening price. Here's 8:30 opening price. Above yesterday's high, staying above it. New week opening gap. Look at that. Old new week opening gap. Above new day opening gap now again. Comes down back into the new day opening gap. Watch to see if it can't stay above it. Use it as support. Okay. Comes down, can't even get to the midpoint of the new day opening gap. Does it come down into upper quarter? Yep, hits the upper quarter perfectly. And now we're sending us higher. If we can get above this high, I want to see it stay above this high and gravitate up towards here. Stop short of this 5-minute or 15-minute inversion for value gap. I'll mark this real quick actually. Okay. Nothing yet, folks. Comes down and touches that 15-minute fair value gap. We want to see it stay in the upper half. So I'll mark that. Line, green. So from news, what has it done? It's dropped, created an imbalance, traded back up, and now it's above here. Trade back down into new day opening gap. It traded below it, couldn't stay below it, traded back above it, came back down into it, touched it, used it as support, and now is trading higher. Okay. That's a solid reaction out there. We're technically done with the first macro. It is 10:11. So, like I said, about 18 more minutes or so. Not too excited about anything right now. I want to see if we can get above this candle's high. If we can get above that candle's high, I'm wanting to see it gravitate up towards here, like I said. Let's see here. I'll mark this because I'm watching this here right now. Can't come back down and touch it. There's volatility, folks. Look how much it's moving. Watch the price axis right here, because I'm watching that too. Look how much. Jeez. So right there. Let's see if it has a big jump. It had like a six-handle jump here a second ago. Let's see it stay in the upper half of this. Oh, sorry. I'll change the middle line. I'll change it to red because it's originally a bearish fair value gap, but I want to see it act as inversion now. Remember what I said about the last portion of a move? And there tends to be a lot of stop runs. So, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but in my opinion, this thing is wanting to go up. So, I'm using that, but I'm also gauging how price is reacting in this area right here. So from right here to right here, the price action was different than from right there to right there. So from 9, basically the first macro, from right there to right there. No, there. Okay, back down into the inversion fair value gap. It's come down into it twice, so I don't like that as far as a strong confluence, and now it's trading below the midpoint. So, yeah, it's failing. Let's see, let's see, let's see. I said still have sell side below here, folks. Coming back down into new day opening gap right there. Hits it perfectly. It also, I think, came down to opening. No, didn't. You see how this day, you know, look, even pre-market, you can tell in pre-market too, folks. So I mean, look at this, then run, and then we have run, and then up, and then down, and then so a lot of give and take, right? A lot of give and take. There's not a lot of respect of certain things. So that's the reason why my interest isn't really there. Anyways, let me finish what I was saying, and we'll probably close the stream by the end of it because I don't like anything here. No. Didn't respect this. Back down into 15-minute for value gap. Did like that though. That I did like. So, anyways, give it. Well, let me put it this way. I'll give it till 10:30, and if I don't see anything else, I'll finish the story and we'll close it. We'll end the video. Watch this gap right here. So I shouldn't have deleted it. That was my bad, folks. I just, I see this stuff. It's just I forget that I have to do it for y'all. Right here. Let's see if we can't either see if you can't respect that or disregard it again. Because, like I said, my bias is bullish, so I want to see the opposite. I want to see that thing disrespected. But, like I said, it doesn't have to. That's why we're reading price. It's come down into equilibrium of the opening range twice also. So from this low, like I said, to this high. Comes up in the midpoint of that fair value gap. Remember, folks, pay attention to the higher time frame. We have major displacement to the upside. But it's not, market structure is not supporting the idea. And look, that's a nice reaction for off of that fair value gap right there. Coming back down into it though. So on the 1 minute time frame, bias just flipped. Bias is bullish now since we have broken this swing high. Watch how this candle closes, folks. Watch how it closes. Staying close below the midpoint for right now. Okay. Boom. I really like that. That's nice. Okay. So we have the potential for a bullish fair value gap. See if that can stay open. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. I don't like that. I don't like that whatsoever. Okay. Well, forget that idea. That's what you got to do. When you see something that's starting to transpire and then kind of fades. So you just got to readjust. Hmm. So in your analysis, do this to yourself. Ask yourself right now: Are we more showing, or are we showing more strength, or are we showing weakness? Or which side is it more on? More on. I still would like to see this as an inversion level. Hovering around the midpoint again, stopping just and right at the upper quarter of the opening range. Still trading to that upper quarter, but not showing a willingness to go any higher. Okay. Found some support at that midpoint of the inversion fair value gap. Now it is trading higher. Okay. If it can come down and touch that and act as support, okay. That's what I would like to see. Not yet. Coming back down into the midpoint of the inversion fair value gap. I'd like to see it stay above there if it's bullish. You see how when I say something and I want to see it respected, it's really not? That's a telltale sign that this thing is, first of all, manipulated. Second of all, the environment isn't conducive for high probability. And like I said, look at this. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Are we, like I said, look at that. Look at that. Ever since the run this morning, Like I said, unless you were in it before news dropped, which I mean, go for it if you want to. But look what's happened. What range are we in? From this high to this low, we're inside this range right now. Visual representation. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of the opening range for right now. From this high to this low, that's the range we're in right now. So, until we show a willingness to either take that low out or take that high out, we're just going to be chopping it up in here. And trading in the middle of the range is very difficult because there's, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that can, like, you don't know if it's going to do this, or it's going to do that. It might look like it's going to do this, it might look like it's going to do that. It's too close to equilibrium to determine, what it wants to do. All right, came back down into that 15-minute fair value gap, and it's staying above, or it's at least trying to stay above the midpoint of the inversion fair value gap. So, 2 more minutes though. This is not, I don't know, maybe. As soon as I say something, it might show me something. Okay. Okay. Whew. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. We might have something here then. So we have displacement. We have a trade to the 15-minute fair value gap. And then we have a nice reaction to the upside. We might be starting to create a fair value gap. I want to see this candle support price here. Still nothing. It can come down into that inversion fair value gap again. Still slow. It's going down. See if we still tap that inversion fair value gap. See if it can act as support. Yep, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Okay. Okay, I like that reaction out there. I want to see it stay strong. See if we can't gravitate up upwards towards this high and upwards to here. Let me measure something real quick. This one right there. Okay. We see it drive. Yep, just like that. Want to see it drive through there. I want to see it stay strong. Yep, show strength. Yep, just like that. See if we can't get up to here. Could see it draw back down into that fair value gap. I would like to see it stay open though. No, doesn't look like it though. Stay in the upper half though. Stay above that high. Yeah, I like that. Like I said, it's moving. It definitely is moving, folks. It's not moving how I would like to see it move. Mm. All right. So we got a big beefy candle. I'd like to see it remain strong and drive up here. I want to see it drive. drive, drive, drive. And if it can't, then we might see it retrace back down into this fair value gap. Okay. He said stay strong. Not showing strength just yet. It got up there. It had a good run up there, but it's not showing a lot of willingness to go higher right now. I want to see it stay above this candle. Who is calling me from Beaumont? I don't know anybody from Beaumont. Alright, it's hovering around that level that I had marked out right there. That's probably random, right? So, have that inefficiency right there inside that fair value gap. Like I said, I want to see it stay above this candle's closing price. And if it can't, like I said, it's probably going to draw back down into here. You see how this is? Nope, there it goes. Boom, boom, boom. Wow. Look at that, folks. Wow. Well, that's why you trade with a stop loss. Because guess what? I I was in that trade. I was in there. Now look at this. Look at that. Look at that, folks. Now, do y'all think that is random? Do we have any news? No, we do not. So, anyways, I was in that trade, and luckily, I had taken pretty much everything off. I had one contract on. I'll post the video. Actually, I didn't record it. Sorry. I'll post a. Uh, let's see, how am I going to do this? Should I post it on YouTube posts or should I do it on my Instagram? Because I'm gonna post a picture with it. Because, uh, so I told y'all, unless I saw something, like I said, that showed me a good willingness, I wasn't gonna take it. So I saw this right here. We have this. So I'll explain this trade. And I de-risked. I severely de-risked. I was not. I made $300 off this trade. And like I said, I was risking. What was my risk? I think my total risk after doing adding to it was 280. I think it was around there. So that's all I was comfortable with risking, anyways, too. Um, and that's all, and that's fine. I mean, like I said, this week causes so much, and it's stuff like this, where this thing probably is gonna run here now, and the people that didn't take partials, and the people that are, um, they're kicking themselves. And that's what trading does to you, folks. It absolutely makes you feel like you're going insane because you feel like this thing is after you. You feel like it's personal. You feel like they see your stops specifically, which they don't. Which, if you think about it, if you learn how to trade, you know, like a lot of other people do, a lot of profitable people do, then you're going to put your stop loss where a lot of other people are. And if this thing is artificially driven and every stop is known by the person that's actually controlling it, what are they going to do when they see a plethora of stops in one spot? Oh, let me knock people out. And originally my stop was here, but I rolled it to break even, and I rolled it actually better to break. I rolled it below this candle right here when I was talking to you about it, because I wasn't comfortable, seeing it retrace, lower, and it knocked me out. Boom. And that's why we have stop losses. I mean, that's why we have stop losses, folks. Anyways, I'll mark on here on the chart where I took the trade. So I took it off of this breaker right here. I didn't even wait for the fair value gap. I don't need to wait for a fair value gap just because my model doesn't restrict me. Okay, I can't get it on there. My model doesn't restrict me just to the fair value gap. So I entered there. I had my stop halfway right there below that wick. Actually, I had a little bit higher because this is the midpoint of that inversion fair value gap. I wasn't willing to see it trade back down to that inversion back lower because it's already worked it multiple times and it's got back above it now. Here's where I knew I was onside, and I actually did add more to it when it dipped down into there. And then at that level that I said, that's the reason why I was doing this. I was taking this, which is that daily high, which in my opinion is the end of the run, is the actual, target on liquidity. That's where I was wanting it to gravitate towards. So we have the midpoint, and then we have 1/4. So from here to here, as soon as it hit that, I took something off of it. First of all, NFP week, I'm smart, or not. I'm not saying that to be arrogant. I'm saying that because I've learned I've learned over the years that you need to be smart and take partials. And this was a little 1.16R. It was a potential though 3 something probably, which is where I like 2.71. Yeah. But anyways, here's the target that I was aiming for. So I'll put it up there, and it'll show exactly what I got. So y'all saw me, huh? And I know y'all probably don't believe that I actually took the trade. You'll see it. But entered off of this candle right here, saw this fair value gap, and then as soon as it did that, I think I added to it as it was trading up. Or as this candle, I might have gotten in on this candle, because as this candle was opening up, I wanted to add to it because I wanted to be inside this fair value gap, but since it tapped this, inversion, I wanted to see it stay above it. So I added to it right there. I bought 3 contracts initially. I bought 1 there, and then I bought 1 more there. So I had, no. I bought 4 contracts. 4, and then 1, and then, no. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. 3 contracts, 2 contracts, 1 contract for 6. So I had 6 on. Right there, and then right there is when I took 4 off. Took 4 off there, and then right here, when I saw this thing come back down and then open up there, I took 1 more off. So I had 1 contract left on, and as this thing was dipping down into here, I actually moved my full take profit to halfway because because first of all, from the price action this morning, I was not going to risk it, I guess you could say. Yeah, we're traders, we risk stuff, so I wasn't willing to risk that. Also, where did this happen? 10:30. 10:30 is a very, very impactful time because it's the close of London. Watch this. We're coming up on the 10:50 to 11:10 macro. Watch this. Watch this gap. I'm not going to take this trade because I've already taken a trade and not on this day. Not on this day. Anyway, so that was the logic behind the trade, folks. I hope that makes sense. You'll see on the and here's what I'll do actually. I will screenshot the trade on the platform that it has on there because I don't use this platform. I don't use TradingView. I use my phone and I use that platform on my phone. But anyways, I will put a screenshot of the trade at the end of this video so you can look at it. Now, I can't guarantee that it's going to be very clear because the broker that I use, the executions, they overlap with the candles sometimes, and so you'll see the arrows where I got it and where I added it, but you'll see the writing of the pricing, and that is what overlaps, and it kind of looks confusing. I wish I could just, have the like TradingView, you can just do the hold on. Like with TradingView, you can have the execution marks and the labels. So with this, it has both of these on the platform that I use. So I wish it just had the execution marks to show the arrows, but it has both. Okay, watch this. Watch this gap right here. You have a volume imbalance as well. Anyway, so that's what I'll do. I will post the trade on, well, not post the trade. I will, yeah, I guess post. Well, I'll put a picture of it at the end of this video. We'll watch until 11 o'clock so I can finish the story. But here, that was the trade. So getting in right there on this candle, right there, adding to it right there, or right there on that candle, and then adding one more right there, taking 4 off there, and then ultimately, and taking 1 off there, and then ultimately getting stopped out on this run right here. Yep. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. And that happens. That happens. That happens a lot, folks. And you can either kick and scream and get mad about it, or you can be satisfied that you were right and take it as a win. I'm taking that as a win. Did I make money? Hell yeah, I made money. But do I care that I made money? No, because at the end of the day, the what I was looking for was correct, and that's the more reassuring thing. Because you can be wrong. And, well, here's the thing. I was wrong and profitable yesterday, but in a different sense. You can be totally wrong about the setup and just get lucky, or you can be totally wrong about the direction and get lucky. But you can be unprofitable and right also. Which, I mean, if I didn't take anything off, I would have gotten stopped out because my stop would have been right here, and I probably would have just been like, okay, that's the reason why that I don't trade these days. But I have, and this is just experience. You can't, like I said, you can't make it up. It's just like you have a feeling, like whenever you see this type of price action where it's just climbing and climbing and slowly climbing, that, hold on. Because when I saw this morning, I had a feeling we weren't going to be very clean. And the same thing happened. So, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, folks. Wake up earlier. Wake up earlier and look at pre-market. Study pre-market. If you have the opportunity to be in front of the charts during that time, do it. Because it is going to tell you a lot about, what the morning session potentially is going to be. Okay, so what were we talking about? Oh yeah, taking partials. I've just, and that's the reason why I marked out all of these other stuff too, because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to hold, for a full pull all the way up here, because if it's only moved this much in this amount of time, why would it, and like I said, the macro, that's a different story. That's the reason why we're running right now, because we're inside the macro. Um, but why would it run here quickly if right here is all time distortion, where it's just like chopping around? It knows it wants to go here, or it's predetermined to go gravitate here, but it's not willing to yet. And so when you notice that as a trader, you have to adjust your analysis. And that's the reason why when I was in the trade, I took something off. Took almost all of it off. I had one runner on. So that was the reason for that. Is that, how many handles is that? I think my accumulated position was like right there. Yeah, I think it was like right there. So from right there, 25,865, getting out around 25,901. How many handles is that? What did I say? 25,865 for the entry. 36 handles. Is that enough for you? For me, yeah, that's enough. That's enough to be wildly profitable. Like I said, I was risking about 290 or 80 bucks, and I made 330 bucks. That's normal. That's what you should aim for. You should aim for, your risk. And obviously you want to make, more, but be satisfied with making what you risk, folks. I mean, at the end of the day, the goal is obviously to make money. I mean, the result of all this is making money. The goal, though, and here's a big paradigm shift, the goal should be capital preservation first. The goal is always capital preservation. And like I said, if you make what you risk, that was the essential idea, right? You're like, I'm willing to risk this amount because I want to make, my analysis tells me I'm going to make this amount. Now, if you make double that amount, that's just added bonus. If you make triple that amount, that's added bonus. But the goal is to risk what you are comfortable with, within reason, and protect that. And from there, grow it and compound it. Look at this, folks. Look how it slowed down. Look how it slowed down after it got above this high. We had a nice run, and then as soon as it traded above this high, it's not flowing. It's not flowing. So yeah, that's today. And this, honestly, this is me almost pretty much done for the week. Because Friday, I'm going to be treating it just like today almost. A lot of, small ranges and very short trades, scalps. You have to become a scalper at this point. And if you're not a scalper, don't try to be one. Don't try to be something that you're not. Because if you try to force something that you don't know what you're doing, dude, even if it pans out for you, do you feel good about it, or do you feel like, oh, I got lucky there. I got lucky there, and you know it. Doesn't feel as good. But anyways, let me finish the story I was telling you, and then I'll hop off here. I've been with y'all for 2 hours now, so y'all are probably bored of me. Anyways, so um, where did I leave off? Okay, I think I left off, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself. I left off where I had. It was in the so during the off season we would have conditioning, which like I said would be some form of cardio, running in the afternoon, and I went to school in Texas, folks. I live in Texas. The August and September in Texas. Oh my goodness gracious! I don't wish that on anybody. We had so many guys, and it was their own fault. We had so many guys cramp, so many guys dehydrated, so many guys collapse. just because they don't hydrate. Anyways, it was dangerous. And I was no different. I was, like I said, just lucky enough that I didn't have any complications, I guess. Anyways, so half a scoop before conditioning, because like I said, I was aware. I was like, okay, we've taken a lot, so we're gonna dial it back just a bit rather than saying no more. I'm like just a little bit. Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how the addiction mindset goes. Oh, just a little bit more. I just need one more. Just like trading, you're just like, but if I know I got knocked out here, but if I just re-enter, because I saw this, oh, that must mean, we have this major displacement. So that must mean, we're bearish now. So now I'm going to go short. Oh, we have this inversion for value. Oh, it stops right there. Oh, look, we're doing good. Nope. Don't lose sign of uh the story. Just because there is a, end of a chapter doesn't mean we lose the whole plot. Anyways, that's not the point of this. But if you went short off of this, but your bias originally was bullish, why did you do that? What did I say from the beginning? Do you automatically throw away your original idea if it doesn't pan out exactly like you see? Did I expect that? Did anybody expect that? I don't know if anybody saw that coming. If you did see that coming, then if you got in at this low right here, or if you got in, let me put it this way. If you got in at this high when I got out and you rode this down here, how did you know that? Please, I want to know. I want to know how you knew that, because that's who I want to learn from. Because then that is like the ultimate, knowing the future. Anyways, I'm getting off topic again. Sorry. So finishing the story. So conditioning, half a scoop. That would probably last about, conditioning would last 30 minutes to 45 minutes. After conditioning, it was probably around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So it was basically time to eat. And we were always hungry after conditioning. Oh my gosh. The times that I remember going to the dining, because I ate at the dining hall, the first 2 years I was on campus. Kind of made my own stuff when I lived in an apartment with my roommates. But for the most part, I ate at the dining hall. And oh gosh, let me tell you some stories. Or I could tell you some stories about the dining hall food. Gosh. I was also going to school during, I think my junior and senior year was, no, my junior year, COVID hit, and we got sent home. So, but my senior year, it was a lot of restrictions. And I mean, let me put it this way, folks. It wasn't good when it was normal before COVID. So, in that sense, just imagine what it was, where I'm going with this after COVID. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so we would go to the dining hall, and then what I would drink at the dining hall was an energy drink. Because guess what? I had to do homework. I had to do homework after, everything, because I didn't, do it during the day, obviously, because I had other stuff. So drink an energy drink, eat dinner, go back to my dorm, do my homework. Depending on how long that would take me, I would either grab another energy drink and sip on that. I might not finish it, but if I needed it, or if I felt myself getting tired, I would do it. And, I would probably be up if I had, if it was, in the middle of the semester. If we had midterms and we were in the middle of conditioning and that was middle of fall practice, dude, I was probably up sometimes 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just finishing my schoolwork. Look what's happening here. But take note of that. Watch this level up here. Oh, I know I said I would close it at 11, but it is so close. I want to see this come to fruition. I want to see if it comes to fruition after within this macro. Because then that would satisfy me knowing where this thing was likely to draw to. Oh, it's like he knows. No, it's just probably random, folks. No, I'm probably just getting lucky. It's okay. Anyways, so I mean, I tallied it up. Like I said, I would go to sleep. And here's the thing, I would not have a problem going to sleep. Um, Now during fall practice, we wouldn't have 6 a.m. lifts. So that's the good news. Because, I mean, fall practice was the time that the NCAA allowed us to, have formal coach-led practice. And these things would be, and basically we treated it as scrimmages. So we would just play. We had a big enough team where we could, divide two teams and play each other. We had enough players to do that. So we would have these scrimmages, and I think we had 3 teams. I think we were able to divide it into 3 teams. And, well, let me put it this way. We had what we called the Fall World Series, which we would split into 2 teams. But when we were scrimmaging, we would have 3 teams, and they would cycle, over a span of about 2 to 3 hours every day, and we would just play baseball for 2 to 3 hours, play a simulated game against each other. And so that's what we would do. And so I told you, I would be up between 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, if we had 6 a.m. lifts, man, that means I would have to be up, I would only get 2 hours of sleep, which wouldn't be the case. During that time, I would probably, maybe the max I would stay up to was midnight, but then I would shut it down. But like I said, I tallied it up one time, and I was over 1,000 milligrams, and I didn't have a problem sleeping. And there's probably a lot of, some of y'all that are watching this. I know I don't have an audience right now. If I gain an audience and y'all are watching this, y'all are probably, nodding your head along with me if y'all ever played a collegiate sport, being like, yep, I know the feeling. I did that too. And maybe y'all still do it. Maybe you still, take in that much caffeine because you're just dependent on it. But I became dependent on it. And I don't think it really affected me, but it did affect me because when I came off of it, so and I'm not saying this to make a point of anything, but I'm Catholic, and in Catholicism during Easter, the month of Easter, there is a time called Lent. And Lent, if you know anything about religious history, Lent is when during the time that Jesus went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights and abstained from, eating everything. So during Lent, Catholics, we give up one thing that, is, that we like, that we sacrifice that. So we practice like Jesus did. Anyways, like I said, not important. So that year of Easter, I gave up caffeine for Lent. And let me tell you, folks, I did not believe that I would have the intensity of withdrawals that I did. And I have quit nicotine. I've, vaped from when I was, oh no, even 15? 15? I think I got into it when I was 15. It was really popular when I was younger. To give you a perspective, and I'll tell you my age. I'm 27 now. I turned 27 this past year in October. Anyways, I started when I was 15, and I had vaped all the way up until vaped through college, addicted, and I gave it up, I think, 2 years ago. I think I'm good. I think it'll be 2 years this June or something like that, so close to 2 years, year and a half. But I went through that too. And let me tell you, the withdrawals from caffeine were they didn't compare to the withdrawals from nicotine. To be completely honest, nicotine was a walk in the park. Nicotine was a walk in the park. Caffeine, dude, I was cold sweats, hot sweats, shivers, irritability, mood swings, digestion issues, not issues, but differences in my digestion. It took probably a week and a half for those to finally subside. And I came to the realization, I was like, geez, man, this is serious. And so when they say, caffeine, sugar, all these, legal substances that we, do utilize for energy, um, they're addictive, folks. You don't realize how addictive they are. Um, Now, nicotine, I knew it was addictive, and I went into quitting vaping thinking it was going to be so much harder than what it was. But I maybe had the urge for 2 to 3 days, and then it went away. So, I don't know. I was trying to drag this out a little bit longer while this thing is meandering its way to that level that I have right here. It's got 2 minutes and change. We'll stay here till 11:10 if it doesn't get. Look at this. Look at this. I see it come back down here. I told you I didn't want to see it come back down into here, and it did. I really wouldn't like to see it come down into here, and it it's looking like it wants to, So that's what I'm saying. Why? Why would you want to get in here if you know 9:30? Run. Chop, 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 chop. Little bit of a pump. This is where, it tricks a lot of people, including, me, if you want to call it that. It didn't trick me in the sense that I was smart enough to take something off, but it tricked a lot of people that, thinking that this was going to be the run to here, because that's what I was wanting to happen. But no, knocked everybody out, cleared out this consolidation. What did I say? We were inside this range right here. So what was I wanting to happen? I needed to see it break outside this range. It did. And once it got up here, that's why I said I didn't want to see it break below this candle's low, because we have this high right here, and this is the start of this range. So I wanted to see it stay above here. It stayed above here. Stayed above it right here, which is why I added to it right there. And I wanted it, and it pumped, and that's the reason why I took something off. But from this high to this low, we were in that range. What did it do? It knocked people out going short here, and it knocked people out that were long from here. And now it's running towards the level that I had. It's what it does, folks. It's what it does. Please, I really hope people did not short this when they saw that. I really hope you didn't. Because you might still be in the trade. Because you see this and see how slow it's moving. And you might think to yourself, oh, it's not going to go higher. No way. And it does. Because look at this. That is not... Does that price run make sense? Stop texting me. Does this price run make sense to you? Because it doesn't. Look. It's a pennant. It's a bull flag. Retail obviously is going to see that and chase it. But these markets prey on retail mentality. So if retail is right, does that mean that we are in a high probability environment or uncertain environment? Uncertain, in my opinion. So, anyways, there is the macro, folks. I see no reason why this thing can't punch through there. Like I said, does it have to do it now? Will it come down into this fair value gap? Shit, maybe. Sorry about the language. I think that's the first time I dropped curse word, but with the price action that's happened today, yeah. Could something like this happening and it could drop all the way down to here? Yes. Yes, it can. So if you are long right here, let's say you got in off of this order block right here because you use order blocks. Or you got in on this breaker, boom, boom, and you got in right there, boom, breaker. Your stop is right here. If you haven't taken something off, or if you haven't rolled your stop to break even, what's stopping them, especially with this market structure or this price action structure, what's stopping them from absolutely just plummeting it down to here and knocking you out and then, making another fast run up here? What's stopping them? Nothing. So that's why I'm saying, you got to weigh all these out, when you take that trade or before you take a trade. Anyway, so that was the business today. I will figure out how to add the screenshot of the trade to the end of this video, and then you'll see the picture of it here in just a couple seconds. Here's what I'll do. I will make a video tomorrow, and we'll just watch price action. I really don't, and typically on Thursdays of NFP, I'm just away from the charts altogether. But I'll be in front of, with y'all, and I will give my commentary on, what I'm seeing, like I said, and you'll see, the precision factor of it. If I'm on point, that's a little, let me put it this way. If I call it correctly, don't treat that as, you should go out there and, I can do this stuff, or you could do this stuff. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm expecting not to be correct, not to be on point. I was on point here for the draw on liquidity, yes. Was I on point with my, execution? For the most part, I would say yes, but something like this is always going to be, a factor. That's why we are smart, and we, like I said, always, like I said, you got to know yourself as a trader. Anyways, here we go. Anyways, so that's the end of the video today. We will be back tomorrow, and yeah, drop any questions that y'all have, and we will catch you on the next one. Be safe.